Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, going to be going over some recent polling data here for the generic ballot between Democrats and Republicans for the 2018 midterm elections. Now, for the Democrats to retake control of the House of Representatives, they probably need about a 3 to 5 point lead in the vote overall across all these districts to get more representation in the House. And the reason why the Democrats need to win by a bit of a margin here, about 3 to 5 points, is because a lot of these districts are gerrymandered in favor of the Republican candidate. So as a result, Democrats have to run up a bit of a lead here. And the generic ballot polling that we've seen over the past year or so has consistently shown the Democrats in a big enough lead to where it seems almost like the inevitable that they'll be able to retake the House of Representatives in 2018. But more recently, we have seen these polls tighten up a bit, and now Democrats are in a bit tougher of a battle right now. And especially with so many of these seats being in a gerrymandered situation, it makes things that much more difficult. But there definitely is a lot of positives playing in their advantage. For instance, 25 of these seats are ones that Hillary Clinton beat Donald Trump in. So the Democrats, you would definitely think, have a great shot at picking up seats like that. But on the flip side, there's also 13 Democrat seats that Trump was able to beat Hillary Clinton in. So those seats are potentially up for grabs on the Republican side as well. But so you can see here, Democrats right now at about a 3.7 lead. This is probably just enough to get them over the line just by a slight margin with the Republicans, unless they continue to lose ground here as we lead up to the elections come November. So as you can see here on the trend map, the largest lead that the Democrats had was about 13 points. And this was back around when the tax reform bill was going through. So as you can see, at this point in time last year, it was more of a similar kind of margin to what we have right now, about 4 or 5 points or so. And right now we're more about 3 or 4, so not too far off from where we were last year at about this point in time. But then you had the Affordable Care Act. The Republicans tried to repeal that and replace it, and that didn't go over so well for them. It was a pretty epic failure for them as a party. They couldn't come to an agreement on how they were going to go about doing this. So that's when you first saw them kind of lose some ground there. The Democrats getting more to about an 8, 9, 10 point lead. And then as we go on, we had the tax reform bill that went through and finally passed. And after that, the Democrats had about their largest lead. And the reason for that is because the tax bill, people were learning that the tax cuts for the corporations were permanent, but for the individual, they were only temporary. And also the vast majority of the effects of the tax bill were going to benefit the wealthier Americans. So I think that had a negative impact on the Republicans as well. So a couple of their major battles probably working against the Republicans at the end of the day. Also net neutrality, a big thing throughout this range here where Democrats were able to continue to keep that large margin of victory. But now that these big situations have kind of faded more into the back seat right now, and we haven't had quite as much going around, I feel like the situation with North Korea has probably helped the current administration a bit. And also, I think a lot of this is just the fact that the establishment Democrats are kind of getting in the way right now of the party having success. So over the past couple months, we've been going through primary season. And with that, there's been a lot of great progressive candidates that have kind of been in a situation where the establishment has been working against them. And that's probably rubbed a lot of the base of the Democratic Party the wrong way and has probably put them more in a situation where they're not supporting either party. I think that could be a big reason why the Democrats have lost about 5 points over this course of time, and especially more recently losing a bit of support, is the fact that a lot of these progressive voters that want to change how the Democratic Party works and does elections is just rubbing them the wrong way, and is why they're losing a bit of this support right now as we work our way through primary season. At the end of the day, these aren't the kind of voters that are going to go over and flip and vote Republican come November, but the Democrats definitely have to do more work to get them to come back into the fold and vote for their side come November as well. So scrolling on down here, looking at the polling data over the past year or so of the generic ballot, and it's a pretty good sign overall. This is definitely a trend. You can see every single poll is to the Democrats' side, whether it's, you can see different ranges here depending on what time of the year these polls were taken in, but a consistent lead for the Democrats. certain areas of time, maybe it's more of a 3 to 5 point lead, which is what they need to win the House of Representatives back. And then at their better times, more about in that 7 to 14 point range. If that's the case, then it's going to be an absolute blue tsunami, and the Democrats are going to have a commanding lead there in the House of Representatives. So it's really up to both parties, of course, at this point, how this finishes off. I think worst case scenario is right now we see the Democrats at about a 3.7 point lead. So this is right at about a 50-50 scenario in terms of how many people in Congress the Democrats and Republicans will have respectively. So if they do any worse than this, then the Republicans are going to reclaim the lead there. But if they're able to get back to when they had about a 10-point lead, that's when you would get the blue tsunami. So it's not all bad news right now for the Democrats, but certainly trending in a negative direction for them right now. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that things have kind of quieted down on the legislative standpoint on the Republican side. And then also, I think these primaries are having a negative impact on the already negative view of the establishment wing of the Democratic Party, really hurting in terms of the favorability amongst their own constituents. But that's just my take on it right now. I'll continue to keep track of how these polls go, and I'll probably continue to make update videos as we get closer to the midterm. So thanks guys for stopping on in. For more of these analysis videos and forecasting and predictions, you can check them all out over at our YouTube channel. Subscribe for more, and we hope to see you in our next video, guys. Thanks. Bye.